All right, now on the inside, we're going to talk about writing equations from graphs. We're going to write equations from graphs. So we see right here, we have a graph, and it says Betty makes t-shirts to sell. The graph below shows how much the t-shirts cost her to make. So we see on this side, we have the cost of the shirts, and down here below, we have the number of shirts. Which one of those is the x-axis? The vertical axis or the horizontal axis? Which one of those is the x? X is the horizontal and y is the vertical. Just check and make sure we remember that. So it says down here that we need to make a table with the graph's points and determine the rule. So we're going to use these points on the graph, these 3 dots on the graph, to help us figure out what our rule is. So this first dot here, I see that my x is 2. And for this dot, I see that my y is 4. The next dot, right here, I see that my x is 4 and my y is 8. For my last dot, I see that my x is 6 and my y is 12. If you're having trouble reading these graphs, please let us know. We'll be more than happy to review that with you. This next part, I'm going to write it in pencil because it's wrong. So do not write this next part down. I'm writing it in pencil. Don't write it down because it's wrong. So how do I go from 2 to 4? If we do it like we did on the front page, that'd be plus 2. How do I go from 4 to 8? Plus what? Plus 4. How do I go from 6 to 12? Plus 6. Am I adding the same number every time? No. We are not adding the same number every time. So that means that this equation we can't be adding. We can't add, we have to try something else. So I can go 2 plus 2 to get 4. How else can I go from 2 to 4? I can take 2 times 2 and I get 4. How can I go from 4 to 8 besides plus 4? I can go 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. I can go 6 plus 6 to get to 12, but that didn't work because it wasn't the same. How else can I get from 6 to 12? I can take it times 2. So we see that if we take our x times 2, we're going to get our y. We're going to get our y. So one way that we could write this is we could write it as y equals x times 2. That's one way you can see it. Writing it that way is not wrong. But the way that you'll usually see it, because math people are lazy, we don't want to have to draw the dot in the middle. So how you would normally see this on a test would be y equals 2x. Because remember, if there's no sign in the middle, that means multiplication. So that's the equation you would write here. So it's important, if you get a graph, turn it into a table to see, are you having an adding pattern or are you having a multiplication pattern to help you figure out what your equation is going to be. If you're good on this video, go ahead, stop it, go on to the next one where you're doing practice. You're going to have to look and determine, am I adding for my rule or am I multiplying for my rule? If you need help, again, like I said, go ahead and just ask us.